In 1971, something happened that changed your life before you were even born. A decision was made, not by you, not by your parents, but it controls how hard you have to work, what you can afford, and whether you'll ever feel financially free. And the strangest part? Almost nobody knows it happened. This isn't about working harder. It's about understanding the game you're actually playing. Here's what we're told. Work hard, save money, don't waste it on luxuries, and you'll be fine. But then you look around. You see people working 2 jobs who can't afford rent. You see others who've never worked a day in their life, born into wealth that multiplies while they sleep. So what's the difference? Discipline? Intelligence? Luck? No, it's knowledge. Knowledge of a system that was never explained to you. Because here's the truth most people never hear. Poverty isn't random, and wealth isn't just about effort. They're both designed outcomes of a financial system that has rules. Rules you were never taught in school. Rules your parents probably don't know. Rules that decide who wins and who loses before the game even starts. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go back to 1971. Before that year, money worked differently. The US dollar was backed by gold. That meant every dollar represented actual value, something real, something limited. But in August 1971, President Nixon did something called closing the gold window. He severed the link between dollars and gold. Suddenly, money became an idea, a promise, something that could be printed whenever governments wanted. Now, you might think, so what? That was 50 years ago. But here's what happened next, and this is where it gets personal. When money can be created out of thin air, it loses value over time. That's inflation. But inflation isn't just things getting expensive. It's a hidden transfer of wealth from people who hold cash to people who hold assets. Let me break that down. If you save $10,000 in a bank account and inflation runs at 5% per year, your money loses value. In 10 years, that $10,000 has the buying power of about $6,000. You didn't spend it, you were responsible, but you got poorer anyway. Meanwhile, someone who bought a house, stocks, or land with that same $10,000, their asset went up in price because asset prices rise with inflation. So the system punishes savers and rewards owners. But here's the kicker. Who gets to own assets? People who already have money. People who were taught how money works. People who got in early or inherited wealth or had access to credit. Everyone else? They're told to save, to be careful, to avoid debt. Which sounds responsible, but in an inflationary system, it's financial suicide. Now here's where psychology comes in. Most people don't know this system exists, so when they struggle financially, they blame themselves. I'm not disciplined enough. I should have worked harder. I'm bad with money. But you're not bad with money. You're just playing a game where the rules were hidden from you. Think about it. School teaches you algebra, history, biology, but not how inflation works, not how debt is used by the wealthy to build empires, not why your rent keeps rising faster than your paycheck. Why? Because the system doesn't benefit from you knowing. If everyone understood that holding cash makes you poorer, that debt can be a tool, that assets are the only real protection against inflation, then everyone would start playing the game differently. But most people don't learn this until they're 40, 50, or never. By then, they've already spent decades working hard and saving in a way that guarantees they stay behind. This is what I mean when I say nobody is poor by accident. Poverty is a feature of the system, not a bug. It happens when people follow advice that made sense in 1950 but doesn't work in 2025. So what do you do? First, understand this. The rules changed, but the lesson plan didn't. You were raised in a world where save your money was good advice, but that world is gone. Now the rule is simple. Own things that go up in value. That could be stocks, real estate, a business, even skills that increase your income. But the key is you have to own something, because in an inflationary system, ownership is the only defense. Second, stop blaming yourself for not knowing. You weren't supposed to know. That's the point. The system runs smoother when most people don't understand it, when they keep working, keep saving in banks, keep renting instead of owning. But now you know, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start noticing why the rich keep getting richer, not because they're smarter, but because they own assets that inflate in value. You start noticing why wages feel like they never keep up, because they're not supposed to. Wage growth lags inflation by design. You start noticing why financial advice from your parents doesn't work anymore, because the system they lived in doesn't exist. Here's the final thing I'll leave you with. This isn't about anger, it's about clarity. Once you understand the game, you can start playing it. You can stop saving cash and start building equity. You can stop renting your life and start owning pieces of it. You can stop feeling like you're failing and realize you were just never given the map. Nobody is poor by accident, but nobody has to stay poor either. The system has rules, you just weren't taught them. Now you are. If this changed how you see money, subscribe. We're exposing how the game really works. Come back for the next video tomorrow.